Welcome back to episode 6 of Talking That Talk presented by the Poison Movement. Today we're going to talk a little bit about, what's been going on these past couple of weeks. We don't feel it was right to talk about anything else. So I got Cameron here with me. I got Miles back here with me. And today we got somebody, who I have been really close with for the past couple years. Somebody I've built a great relationship with. We have Isaac Matthias here with us. So, these past couple weeks have been crazy for everybody, but just, talking about the past month, what we've seen George Floyd be killed. And it's something that, people didn't know how to handle, and before that we saw Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, but just kind of talking and, putting some emphasis on George Floyd, because I felt like that was something that, really broke things and really kind of made things go south. I just want to ask you guys, how did you feel when you saw George Floyd be murdered on camera and it be all over social media? How did that make you feel? And what were your kind of initial thoughts?
Yeah, I can take this one first. So for me personally, seeing that video brought, a few different emotions, and even seeing it to this day, I still get very emotional watching that video. But definitely felt angry, for sure, sad, seeing, a police officer literally take the life of a man on camera and show absolutely no remorse whatsoever. And obviously, people in the Black community, we've known that this has been happening, that police brutality is a real issue. But I hope that the death of Mr. Floyd actually brings or sheds a light on not only police brutality, but just the issue of racism in America, and that this is a real problem and it needs to be addressed and it needs to be talked about. And so, going forward, I hope that this Black Lives Matter movement, is not just a trend, that it really, like I said again, sheds a light on the issues that are at hand. But George Floyd definitely, that video definitely brought a lot of different emotions in, and still to this day does just that.
Yeah, for me personally, I haven't even been able to press play on the video once. It's just I mean I saw it as it was circulating, and just those videos. Just there's so much. Whenever something like that happens, there's so much Black Death just on the timeline, and I try. I mean, obviously, it's sickening and it makes me viscerally angry. But I just feel like I can't contribute on continuing to circulate Black trauma throughout my timeline. But kind of as a coming out of that video specifically, I think, like you said, Miles, it just made so many people sick and angry. And I think the outcome of that has been really inspiring. Obviously, we've seen movements like this for many years, but this one's different. I've seen way more people. I mean, there's just such mass protests, so many people kind of engaging with radical thought that have previously not. And I think that's just been super inspiring, and has really had a positive outcome of this just absolutely sickening event.
Well, for me, it's like you said, I'm one of those sick people, because I feel like it could have been me with my friends getting pulled over just because I said something. It's crazy to think that just because a person gets to the police academy, that kind of gives them the right to go and kill somebody freely and get away with it, kind of. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Isaac and Cameron. I haven't been able to really watch the video. I watched it twice, and it just is sickening to me, because I think of it as man, that could be my dad, that could be my uncle, that could be me, like Cameron says. So it's just crazy, for me to have to see that on my timeline every single day, and have to stomach it, knowing that it's clearly not right. So staying on that situation and what has happened after that, with these protests. Some you hear a lot, and it irks my soul when I hear it. You hear people say all lives matter. And I just want to know what that means to you guys when you hear people say all lives matter.
Yeah, I can start with that, because it's white people saying it.
Yeah.
White people committed to that idea. And from my perspective, obviously it's born out of a lot of ignorance, and people being willfully ignorant. But at this point, it's been said for however many years. People that are saying all lives matter know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's not them just trying to be cute about it. It's a grasp for power. they're looking at Black people, people supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, and they're trying to reclaim power from them. They're trying to hold on to their whiteness. They don't want to see people admitting that like this country has purposely neglected Black lives for so long. And I think it's just a way for white people specifically to like try and grasp their power that they're scared of slipping.
For me, I kind of feel like it's like kind of like trying to downplay what we stand for and what we're trying to like talk about and come together for. And I feel like when they try and like say all lives matter, like we're trying to be selfish, I feel like that's trying to just make us just look back like, oh, look, they're selfish. They're only worried about themselves. Other people are dying. Other people in other cultures are dying. But it's not about that. Like we're the most prominent one out here right now. And like you see us getting killed right now on the streets, live recorded, and nobody's really doing anything about it. So it's crazy.
I think honestly, I think Isaac and Cameron pretty much hit it on the head right there. But honestly, I think it's people trying to deflect, people trying to take the focus off of what's actually at hand. And yes, all lives do matter, but Black lives are the ones that have been singled out for generations, and have been oppressed for years and years and years. But yeah, I think Isaac and Cameron, I think you guys both hit it on the head with that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to get too deep, but I actually just saw something this morning. It was kind of biblical, and it was just talking about, if Jesus had 100 followers and, one got lost, he probably would go after that one, but he might hear from the 99 and say, yo, what about us? We're important. And he, will probably respond and just be like, I'm not worried about you guys right now because that one is the one that's missing right now. So, and to me, that was kind of crazy. And it's kind of significant to just show like, yo, you guys are just trying to make it seem like, we're only worried about us. But in reality, worrying about us is worrying about everyone because we should be a part of, the all lives. And so that's just, I'm really against that too. Like I said, it hurts my soul. And then, just, kind of staying on this whole situation in terms of the protesting and the looting. And I can start off with this, I have protested. I haven't seen anybody loot. And, would you catch me out here looting? No. But am I against the looting? No. I don't feel like that's a problem. I don't think you can, tell people how to express their anger. And this anger has been built up for a long time. And so I don't see the hate that's coming behind this whole looting thing. I think it's just another way, again, to cover it up and try to, make it seem like things are bad when in reality, we're just, we're tired. And that's just my take on it. What do you guys think about that?
Well, for me, I kind of feel like that's a government kind of thing because, like I said, it feels like if they didn't want the looting to happen, they wouldn't let it happen. They would have police officers out there 24/7. They wouldn't be putting bricks out there. They wouldn't be doing any of that. I feel like that's kind of to make us look bad in the first place and just show that we're just ignorant and doing all this bad stuff. Like, I'm not against it. I agree with it. They should, because if you keep bullying somebody, eventually they're gonna snap. Like, you can't keep doing it and not expect the reaction. But I feel like that's the reaction that they wanted and that they knew they were gonna get just to make us further look bad.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think there is like a deliberate plan to like focus on and try and paint a picture between like what a peaceful protest and like looting. And personally, like I don't go loot. Like I don't care. These are like I don't care about a Target. Like if a Target loses some candy, like who cares? Like let people go get food. These are communities that are like completely underserved. I'm not going to be mad about someone going into giant Target and taking what they need for their family. And even just like if they want whatever's in there, like go get it. Like it's a Target. Like that Target in Minneapolis is in a Black community that they probably employ Black people, but they commit wage theft every day. They have like partnered with the police department in Minneapolis. They're not benefiting the community. So like go take what you want. But yeah, again, like what you said, Austin. I'm not going to tell people how to channel their anger. Like, people are angry, and that's going to come out how it comes out. And I think the focus on like the idea of looting is very purposeful. I think that's like, people want to paint that picture between what is looting and what they see as a peaceful protest, when in reality, like, no protest is peaceful. Like, a protest is a protest. You're going up against the government. Like, that's not peaceful, no matter how it's conducted. But they want to tell people what the right way to protest is, and that's never going to happen. They're never going to budge on that.
Yeah, and I think going off of what all you guys said, in terms of the looting, you probably won't catch me out there looting or anything like that, but just in terms of looting, like I definitely understand it, and I know why people are doing it. And then again, basically what you guys all said is that people focusing on the looting is, again, deflecting. They're not, really focusing on the big issue at hand, which is trying to tear down, institutional racism. But in terms of protesting, I've actually had the opportunity to protest a couple times and have been very, very hopeful and very excited with the turnouts that I've seen. I've seen that, I'm pretty sure since the day that, Flora was murdered, there have been protests literally around the country every day. And that's been very, exciting for me to see that people seem to be taking it serious, and that people are actually willing to, put their health at risk, for a cause that they believe in. So.
Yeah, I agree. And just kind of going off of that, and Miles, we've protested, together this week. And just one thing I want to, we don't have to get into a topic about this, but just one thing that I'm kind of, adamant on is just make sure you're genuine. Like, if you're out there, you know what I'm saying, and you're protesting, just make sure it's for the right reasons. Make sure you're not out there protesting just to get the IG pick. And that's been something that's been big to me, because when I was out there, I saw a lot of people that were kind of, in my opinion, focused on the wrong reasons. So just, just to kind of switch topics a little bit, the question I have for you guys, and this has been something that's been huge for me these past 2 weeks, is mental health. And like I've told each of you guys, I feel like I've been in a funk these last couple of weeks, because when I'm on, social media and stuff like that, that's all I'm seeing. And it's, it's just been kind of draining for me. So just can you guys talk a little bit about how your mental health is at this time, and, what you've been trying to do to kind of, stay positive throughout this time?
I can take that one first. So one thing that I know, is really big in our generation is obviously social media. And I think that, taking a break from that, just because all that we see on social media, well, not all that we see, but the majority of what we see on social media is something circulating around, Black death, Black trauma, something to do with, the looting, protesting, something like that. And sometimes I think it's good for me, I've seen, to kind of take a step away from that and kind of breathe and kind of regroup. Just because when I do find myself on social media, I do find myself getting angry or getting emotional in some type of way. And then also, I feel like it's been good to there haven't been that many people that I feel like I've been able to vent to. But when I do, have that person in my life that I can turn to and just kind of let those different emotions out, I felt that that's been very helpful as well. So in terms of mental health, those are the two things that I've seen to be very helpful.
Well, for me with mental health, it's been kind of like Austin said, I haven't been in the funk, but I've been more like just thinking like, dang, I really don't know. Like, anything can happen in this world. Like, with all this stuff going on, like, as a Black man, I could die tomorrow. Like, I have no clue. And I feel like just mentally, I've been kind of just like staying healthy and like just staying calm and just staying with my family, staying secure, to know that like if something did happen, I'm with the people that I love and I'm who I am as a man. And I'm okay with that, with whatever goes on.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely affects me mentally different than it'd affect any of you. Like, the past week hasn't brought up any like past personal traumas. Like, I'm not a threat when I go out. I'm not at risk of dying. So it definitely is different for me. But I don't know. As Austin knows, both my parents are psychotherapists. So mental health and trying to take care of yourself mentally is like super ingrained in who I am and what my upbringing is. So I think it's just key to remember that, like, when participating in any movement, like, you got to be at your best. You got to take care of yourself. You have to be healthy. And like, I think in our society there's such a focus on, like, you have to constantly be working, you have to constantly be grinding, like, just like 24/7. But in reality, like, that's not productive. That's going to burn you out. So like the idea that you need to constantly keep going is a little misguided. Like, being taking care of yourself and resting is like part of liberatory work. It's super important. You just gotta work to take care of yourself, and that's not misused time.
Yeah. Okay. So I got two more things for you guys. And the first thing, I kind of want to touch on is, and especially I want your opinion, Isaac, on this. What do you think white people's responses should be to all of this? I've had people hit me up. I had white people hit me up, and kind of say, like, I'm sorry, and how can I help? And to me, I want to make sure that it's the people that are hitting me up are genuine. Like I said before, and I've had people hit me up, talking about, I didn't know this was going on. I didn't know this was so bad. And I'm kind of looking like, yo, well, if you didn't know this was a problem until now, I think that's a bigger problem in itself.
Right.
But, I just kind of want to get you guys' opinion on that. What do you think white people's responses should be? And then for Isaac, do you feel a responsibility to hit up your friends who are minorities and things like that, and kind of check on them? Or do you feel like, that's if you don't have a relationship with them, you shouldn't be talking about it? And Isaac, you can start off with that.
Yeah, I'll start with that. I mean, I think like you said, like, where have you been? If this is like the time that you're waking up, like, you're late, and you got a lot of work to do yourself. But for like hitting up my friends, I mean, I check on my friends in general if we've got that relationship, like, whether if it's something going on in their personal life or it's something like this that's going on more generally, as a society. So I think like, if you have that relationship, you should be checking in on your friends constantly. Like, you got to be there for them. But more specifically, like, if you haven't talked about race with your Black friends, like, you're probably not that close of friends. Like that, like, if I'm a white guy, and if I haven't talked about race with any of my Black friends, there's something missing. Because that's very central to not only like our lived experiences, but our own relationship. So yeah, if this is the first time that you're reaching out to one of your Black friends about race and how this country functions, quite frankly, like, you're probably not that close, and might not be the best to reach out to them right now.
Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like, I'm not gonna say white people don't have a say, but I don't feel like they need to have a voice in this particular subject, because in this subject they're the enemy right now. Not like, you feel me, like it's not good in the public eye right now. And I feel like they will never understand the pain that we've gone through as a Black community and as a Black man, just all of us. Just even not going through, like, that hasn't happened to me, but I feel it because it could be me. You feel me? It's like, it's crazy that could happen. And I don't know, I just feel like I accept the support, though. Very much accept the support.
Yeah, I would say, going off of what Isaac and Cameron said, definitely accept the support. I think that one of the biggest things that you can do right now, like Isaac said, if you are one of those white people that has a relationship where you have talked about race with a Black friend, peer, coworker, whatever, that one of the best things that you can do right now, besides educating yourself or what have you, or showing your support, is really just to listen. And that was one of the things I said earlier. If you have, for me, for mental health purposes, if I have that type of person where I can just vent to them, that's huge to me. Just because me personally, I don't really like to share my emotions, and I think that that's one thing that a lot of Black people right now need, is to just vent, to get some stuff off their chest. So I think that's a great position for some of those white people or white allies to kind of take right now.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. And I think something else important to point out is like, yo, I think it's okay for us not to be ready yet to have those conversations. I don't think it's our responsibility to inform them on anything. I just think, I think they need to be touchy and delicate with it. And I think we also need to be delicate with ourselves as well, and I think we just, I think it's important if we're really friends with them that we can, help them and, put them on the right direction. But at the same time, I don't think we owe them anything. And I think they need to give us space as well and let us, heal ourselves as well. And so, the last question I have for you guys, and you can kind of get this one quick, is what can we do? What are the action plans? A lot of people are talking about what's going on and, how crazy it is, but I'm focused on what can we do to help? And I'm just curious, what do you guys think we can do to, kind of find a solution? And I know that's tough. I don't think it's one correct answer, but, I think for me it's, I think it's important for us to understand, and I think it's important for everybody to understand what's going on, but also be able to open up and look in the mirror and see what they can do personally to help. And I think that's black or white. I think it's important. I think it's our duty to kind of look in the mirror and, figure out what we can do to help. So what do you guys think could be some action plans?
I can take this one first, and I'll just talk about one thing. And I think one of the biggest things you can do is just to educate yourself on the topic. Institutional racism has been a problem in America's history for as long as America has been around. And there's a lot of different resources out there to educate yourself, different podcasts, different books, lots of different books, different documentaries that you can watch just to educate yourself. And, obviously as Black people, this is the reality in which we live. But it's not a bad idea for some African Americans out there to tap into these resources as well, just to educate themselves and so that they can speak on the topic a little bit better if the opportunity is at hand and they want to speak on it. So that's one of the biggest things I believe, educate yourself.
For me, I feel like it's more that I agree with the protest and what we're doing, but I feel like if you really want to hurt them, like stop buying stuff and giving money to the corporations that are funding like these and or the police and Trump and all the crazy stuff like racism. Like, why would you give money to these people but then go out into the street and protest the same companies? Like, you're still buying stuff, so it's not really helping anything or doing anything. But I feel like that would kind of be the only way to really hurt them and just hurt them pockets, not get money into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like obviously anything I say is way less important than anything y'all say. And anything, all my opinions on the subject matter come from you three, from specifically a lot of work done by Black women throughout the history of that theory. So I think, like Miles, you're talking about just like being there to listen is big, but also like you gotta act, you gotta do and help the organizations in your own community. I don't know. I feel like I see a lot of people asking like, "Where's the leader?" stuff like that. But there are organizations in your own community, and you're just overlooking them. And like white people specifically need to like donate money. You need to be able to help these organizations survive. You need to contact your city council members. That quite frankly, for like policing, that's where the most action can take place. That's where the budget is controlled, and you need to start taking money away from the police. I don't know, like white people in suburbia are probably uncomfortable with the idea that like policing has way too much money, and they don't like the idea of like taking away money from that. Like in Milwaukee, the police get $230 million every year, where it's like public housing gets 20. And it's like, that's just, yeah, I mean, you got to use your power to start contacting them. And
yeah, and I mean, I feel like they should use their privilege as well.
Yep.
I saw videos and protests where they would step in front of a Black person, and I just feel like that's powerful. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just feel like that's equally as powerful. Just use your privilege in many different ways. And so, I mean, that's really all the questions I have. Do you guys have anything else you need to say? Get off your chest. I feel like, you know, in terms of, you know, this conversation, I feel like it's important for us to have this. And for me, it's just kind of been cool because I haven't really wanted to talk to anybody in these past couple of weeks. So this is a way for me to, you know, really get out my thoughts and, you know, more so than put them out on social media. I wanted to kind of, you know, talk to you guys and kind of get your opinions. So, yeah, do you guys have anything else to say?
For
I
me,
don't. I was gonna say I don't have anything else to say. Just appreciate all you guys sharing your opinions and talking on the issue.
for me, I just wanted everybody to like just pay attention to the bigger picture and like what's going on, and not see what they want you to see in the news. Like just really look deeply, and like all this stuff is happening just now. Like it's crazy to me, but yeah, just I appreciate talking to y'all about this. It's cool.
Yeah, again, I appreciate y'all calling on me, asking me to engage in this. And yeah, just like what Cameron said, we got to focus on the bigger picture. We have to parlay this into some real action, make a difference.
No, that's facts, man. I appreciate all you guys. Isaac, I appreciate you having this conversation with us. I know sometimes a lot of, you know, I feel like sometimes it can be uncomfortable to have these conversations, but I feel like, you know, we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you guys for having this conversation. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap for episode 6. We look forward to coming to you guys with more content. And you know, just keep having these conversations, keep doing your part, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you.